when we're talking about TCI Clean Delivery, because we have rebranded it, we call it Clean Delivery now, but we still get stuck in TCI. So it was Zach yesterday who kind of called me out on this and said, well, if y'all stop talking and calling it both, maybe you won't get it confused anymore. So I was like, well, I guess I'll own that one, and I will eliminate TCI from my mind, and Emberley is Clean Delivery. So I do appreciate him for calling me out on that.
One good thing, I'll take it.
So what I want to do is go over our dashboards. I'm going to mix it up from how we went yesterday because we weren't able to walk through the warehouse and get to receiving. And that's one of the main things that I want y'all to see is the actual warehouse and how great the ops team has done at our gold standard and all the effort that they've put into the warehouse in the last few months. Getting to that, as we walk through, I'm going to point out some dashboards as we go to Nemo. But a lot of the success that we're having in the warehouse with our clean delivery percentage, hitting our goals and our metrics, is all because of our dashboards and the teams when we go over them every day. So this is our main operations dashboard, and it kind of has a little snapshots of each department on here. One thing that we do the first Friday of the month, every month, we go through and we celebrate our birthdays, anniversaries, accomplishments, team members that's hit their 90 days. And we go through and have a little celebration for that. Next important thing for us is our days without a lost accident from each department. A couple years ago, we rolled all departments in the warehouse into one, so it really wasn't fair when one person from receiving got in an accident and it reset everybody's clock. So now we've got it going by departments, and we've got 3 teams that are killing it, that since we started splitting them apart, they haven't had an accident, so we definitely acknowledge them. Other main things on here that's not departmental is our clearance inventory. Everyone's aware of that. So you know the things that get sent to y'all versus what we send through the outlets. But our goal is to keep this at 135. We're hitting it pretty well, but we have to battle when things become DI and DR that were active. That's our battle now, is keeping up with purchasing when they roll these things over, making sure we get them out of the warehouse. This is our company-wide year-to-date shrink. So this is stores and warehouse. The number that's not included in this is FCP. But our goal for the year is 408. Right now, we're sitting at 59.6. So if we stay on track where we are, we'll actually come in about 50,000 under our goal for the year, which is phenomenal because we cut y'all's goal almost in half, and we cut the warehouse goal in half this year. So us still being way under that goal, I think, is a lot of credit to all of us for what we put into our inventory to reduce the shrink for the company. Next thing I want to go to is our clean delivery percent. We have really put a lot of focus on this year, trying to get this number up. We have a meeting now in the warehouse every Thursday. The department leaders of the warehouse, we invite our delivery teams to attend the meeting, and we go through every bad stop that hit the company in the previous week. So we've really made that transparent. We want to review with everyone who created this problem and what can we do to prevent it. One of the big things we're struggling with this year is concealed freight damage, where a box is not damaged, but when we open it, it's got major damage. So we're putting a lot of effort into receiving owning that, the pull team owning that, and how we're transporting the goods to eliminate those types of damages. You can see where we came in just a month. We finished January at a 94.2. We finished last month at a 95.2, so we came up a full percentage point in that. And that number means for that, less than 5% of our customers did not have their delivery completed on the first attempt. So that's a really good number, and that's our scoreboard, because the higher we get that number, it reduces all of our expenses. If you think about every time we have to replace something we damaged, we're ordering more stock, it's being sent to clearance. Purchasing, they have to track those orders. Customer care has to enter it. Y'all get phone calls. So when you think about all the energy and money that the company spends, the higher we push this number, we just incrementally save because there's less people touching all of this to replace that product. So going back into the blank screen now, a big change this year, the focus that I'm really putting on this is we've determined our teams that are in the low scores are who is preventing us from hitting our goal, and we want to be at 96 at the end of this year. So with the rankings that we have now, we've clearly identified, and we have our minimum standards for deliveries. If teams, our minimum standard for delivery is a 94%. And that is our upgrade watch and keep. Is below a 94, you're an upgrade. 94, you're a watch. 95 and above, you're a keep. As we've done this, we've been able to put all of our teams in a ranking. You can't see them, but here's my little cheat sheet. I send out email communications to the delivery teams every week of where you were last week and where you are year to date. The teams that do not get to run trucks this year is based on their year-to-date numbers. So if you are a low performer, I just don't run you. That's how our score is starting to go up, is winners want the ball. If you're in that category, you're proving it, you run. Trucks that I'll call out for this, Truck 14 on the East Coast and Truck 23 on the West Coast. There are two newest teams in the company, and they're the top two on each side. Truck 14 ended up 96.4 last month, 97.4, and Truck 23, a West Coast truck, was at a 97.1%. So having one of our West Coast teams delivering in the box, he's found out what it takes for him to win. We're actually running him from Bradenton down to Sarasota. So we're bringing a new team on board right now, and I wanted to take care of him, and let's move him back up to Bradenton and put this new guy in Sarasota. When Jay found out, he said, do not touch my route. I bonded with these customers. I have found my niche. I want to drive. I want to stay where I am. I found my home. So with his numbers, he's earned the right. That's where you want to be. You've earned it. Stay there. So really huge wins on where we came. We've always looked at East Coast and West Coast. West Coast will never be able to keep up with East Coast. Not true anymore. So it's really changed our dynamic on how we're evaluating the delivery teams. Any questions on our clean delivery?
That's awesome. So, Simme, that new team from the West Coast, I mean, are there things that you've been able to identify with them of why they've been able to set that pace as opposed to other trucks out there just haven't been able to do it?
He's not in a rush. He's taken listening to John, listening to what it takes, and he's really embracing this is about our customer's experience. It's not about how quickly you finish your route. If we need to slow you down to keep your numbers up, he's willing to communicate that with us, and his heart's in it. I've had several emails with him last month leading up to this that I told him it shows how much you love your job. If you didn't, you would not be hitting the numbers.
When are you upping our return credits, Ian?
I said, when are you upping their goal for credits?
It's coming because Mr. Ryan is our powerhouse, and he is almost at halfway of his year-to-date credits already earned, not applied for. These are guaranteed already in the bank. So he is already deciding he's going to up his goal without us even getting involved in it. So we kind of joke when we look at the other departments in the company, customer care, purchasing, Jess, even Bridget that goes after credits. We don't tell them, but it's our joke. Maybe we should help them. All right, if we don't have any other questions, we're going to start walking. If you have any questions, you all know we're not bashful. Just give a shout.
What's that comp time on the right top? 19 minutes, 7 minutes.
How quickly it refreshes the screen. It's not a bomb. So we're going to pause here coming up to returns. I'm just going to point out their dashboard. When we have our 1 o'clock meeting every day, most of y'all have been here at some point. You've seen us all huddled together at 1. Whatever department is hosting the meeting for that day, they're going to review their main metrics, and then they're going to hit their focuses. So this is part of our strategic plan that was for this year. We started it last year to get into it. Home office is now joining our 1 o'clock meetings, wherever we host it. And they join this as well. So each department comes up with their clean delivery, what they're working on to help our clean delivery. They have a safety goal, their gold standard, and what core value that they're working for the month. So this is just to really bring focus to what we're working on and bring the home office team together so we all understand each other's metrics and what we're working on. It's made a huge difference with that. Any questions? All right. Same thing as we come by the pull team, their dashboard, same thing, all their metrics clear. Some of the departments have even started with their daily huddle for their teams. The managers are having their teams rotate out and having their team give their daily huddle to review their metrics where we feel we could dig in a little bit better to explain our core values and get better in, involvement within the warehouse. So a lot of fun that the teams are having. A lot of them are also having different people in their department sub for them when we have the daily huddle at 1 o'clock. So they'll have their supervisor step in and MIT someone else just to get the experience. And one of the big things for us is just helping everyone with public speaking. It's one of the biggest benefits we've seen for everyone here. Everyone gets so nervous, so we're trying to help everyone be in front of their friends a little bit and get the confidence to speak in front of them. Yeah, as y'all look through, it's definitely a lot cleaner in here. One of the big initiatives that we've done is every day we clean spider webs out of the ceiling. So Josh found these really super long poles. He and I have done it, but that's why we're so much cleaner in here. We don't have as many spider webs.
Remember, Jen, this part of the floor walk where you take pictures, and when your people say, we don't have anything in stock, right? You just take a few of these pictures and bring them back to your store. Okay?
A lot of money.
Guys, nothing's in stock.
Well, now I am going to tell y'all, as you look through this, one thing I'm going to battle Eric on a little bit. We still have plenty in stock. But one of the things we were struggling with was we ran out of space a couple of years ago. We got in a lot of hot water with the fire department because the fire system was no longer adequate for our building. So we are in a major battle right now. It's one of the things on our radar. We've got to upgrade the entire fire system here. So part of doing this is our stock levels have come down. That's definitely in our benefit. So we have space again in the warehouse. 2 years ago, our decks were basically solid. You couldn't fit a toothpick in between them. That's what got us in trouble. Now they're spacing back out, and you see these racks. There was a 5th level starting here. And this is what we're doing. We've removed the entire 5th level from inside this part of the warehouse, and now we're working on the back section. We're eliminating an entire level of our storage, which is huge for us. What we've got to manage now is making sure we're ordering correctly and we don't get caught up with over-ordering because we're going to have nowhere to store it.
Right.
So we definitely are strategizing how to become a lot leaner to be able to work without that safety net of the 5th level, because that is going to save us huge on the fire system project.
So are you guys trying to maintain like a 70-80% full level? That way you still have room for incoming product, or how are you managing that?
Right now, I'm really not looking at that. I mean, as crazy as it is, we've been able to evaluate how much space we were using that between Nemo, Mike, and myself, evaluate we can get rid of this level by redeveloping and resizing the warehouse. So we knew we're at the point we could get rid of that level. Now we will look at deeper if we need to add middle racks and reposition everything to accommodate further freight coming in.
Nice.
Do you stack them by vendors? How do you know?
Wherever they fit.
Wow.
Tetris, love it.
And how do you find them easily? By what? Cereal, whatever?
Well, the way that we are in the warehouse, each rack location has a barcode on it.
Oh, okay, so they scan the box.
Yes, so as soon as they put this item here, they scan it and it's live updated in Frog.
Okay.
So you know what it is.
Mm-hmm. So our guys that are on pull, they're on piece count, so they get paid by the piece. And pulling, to me, if I'm going to pick one thing in the warehouse to do, I love to pull. Because it's not about muscle, it's about your mind. It's knowing the layout of the warehouse to be able to look at those items and know what's in a box and what's not, and how can I stack my picker. So that's the part that our guys that are efficient, they've learned the format. They know these racks we keep open stock in versus which one are boxed, and that's how they're being so successful at pulling. How do they find the spot? When they're putting away and receiving, they just pay attention as they're coming down an aisle. Is there space? Is there space? And then they remember on their next trip where all they saw space. It was a lot worse. When we ran out of space in the warehouse, it was very painful because it was taking about 10 times longer to put the freight away because the guys just kept writing, looking for a hole. And that's when we changed back to the pull would come in. The pull team would come in 2 hours earlier to be able to pull 4 or 5 trucks out.
Before you
And that was the only way we were able to make space to bring freight in.
for
that
the
day.
receiving.
All right, let's head down one of the racks.
Now, Simme, I'm still new.
Mhm.
How often do you have trucks or containers sitting that you can't open and unload? Almost
Never.
never now?
We never have.
That's awesome.
Even we
Some
don't
of the
turn
companies
trucks
I was at, Florida Leather Gallery, they had to rent extra warehouses to open some of their containers.
No, we the worst position we got into is we were taking our trailers that were taken out of service, waiting for repairs,
Right.
and I pulled them all up in the building and we were putting product in them. We took any place in the warehouse that just had an empty wall and we stacked freight up.
Got it. Yeah, it was a real nightmare because it would turn our in stocks that would be here within 30 days into, sorry, you got to wait an extra month because we can't unload them.
We were very fortunate. We almost got to that point, but we didn't. What saved us was we jumped on the initiative to get all the bad inventory out of the warehouse. There was unsellable, DI, DR, not showing boards. Right. We started attacking that, and that is what saved us for being able to keep up with it.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you have that issue. How many guys do you got that are
I'll get you a good deal.
Loading
On the pull team, there's 4 people, and receiving has 7.
That's pretty cool too. That's about the size my house was. I used to be one of these guys way back in the day when I was like 19.
How many were you with before?
I was a company up in Washington State. I was a warehouse receiver. One of those triple story forklift guys. Yeah. Those were fun. Lock into the wire in the floor and then just run down the.
So all that talk Crystal did, and look who's bringing up the rear. She is in a big hurry. Like
Here they come.
All right. So to Eric's point, as you look through, we can see a little bit more from this angle. We are going to get rid of the 5th level on these racks as well, but it's just consolidating, and you guys can see we have a ton of freight in here. So we still have it. We got rid of our backlog of reserve, so most of what's in here now is available, ready to go. It's no longer, we're not warehousing. It's no longer half of our warehouse. Are we warehousing for customers with their houses not ready? So that's the other reason we're making the positive moves that we are, is we got all that out of the warehouse, so it's our warehouse again. Any questions?
Impressive.
Definitely a lot cleaner than
Much better
than what we've been in a very long time.
You should post on the producers before and after, like when we were.
Yeah.
Oh, when it was,
You know, remember back to what was it, 2 years ago?
I do, but I didn't want any proof of that. we didn't want the fire department to see me that, so we didn't take any
Okay, fair
pictures.
point.
We only want to show this.
Yeah, but the producers, we don't have a fire chief on. Awesome.
So yeah, I'm very, very happy with all the guys in the warehouse for all the energy that they put into Gold Standard. We actually have one guy that's more of our janitorial, that's his title. Mike Davis, who's been with us for a really long time. He came to the COC. He's Gold Standard in the warehouse, so he runs through with a little vacuum in between the racks now and
Send it
just
my way.
constantly cleans.
Send it my way, I need one. Very nice. Oh, did we get rid of the umbrellas? 2 million umbrellas?
No,
They're
we
still
just
here?
hid them.
Our inventory, they're on right there.
Yes, we got them off the floor and we shoved them in that rack.
Oh.
These are all the RTVs, right? Aren't they?
I don't know.
Yes, this is your RTV bedding. And this is part of our rack project. This has all happened in less than a week. All of these were on the 5th level in the middle of the warehouse, and that's what we've accomplished in under a week, getting rid of that level.
more mattresses, you guys. Look at all these
Tons of mattresses. If you,
Oh my God,
we got another
sell.
rack of mattresses over there.
We got, look at this.
I'll make a big sign that says mattresses for sale and I'll go hang it down.
He was very disappointed we didn't get back here yesterday.
Oh, so he called us now.
Yeah, so we couldn't let him down today. We had to come back.
Oh, can I have the dolly?
Sure.
Can I have it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my God, thank you.
Or is it for some reason someone let them reselect? It was a loaner type scenario and had been in the customers for maybe a couple of months, and we wouldn't be able to sell it as new. That we may send to a store.
What about if it didn't fit, let's say, and they change it after a week?
If it's active, we
Active,
would restock it.
you restock it, okay.
If it's special order, that's a different
Special
story.
order, no, there's no question about it.
Hey,
I've taken over a lot of the communication from John and communicating to the teams to drive their performance. Is letting our teams know if you're not able to do basic touch-ups to a certain level, you're not going to be successful and you cannot be on our team. I mean, it's just flat out. In interviews, I've told people, if that's what you want to do, you can go to Cane's, Rooms to Go. You're just not going to be a good fit with our clients and what we know it takes to be successful. We've had a couple of larger companies in the past year meet with us wanting to try to get their foot in the door. And what Josh and I have realized after talking to them is we're not going to train you. You're coming to us because you've heard we're really successful and you want to come in and learn what we're training our guys to do. Not happening. So we've actually taken a lot of pride in that and knowing people are now coming to us trying to figure out what we're doing. We're willing to train teams to be on, but we're not letting a larger company. We've had other contract teams for us that would come in and maybe run 3 trucks. Over the past year, we've gotten rid of them all. If you're not going to be the contractor and you're not going to be on the truck, you will not be successful for us, and we're just not even going to give it a shot. So in the interviews I'm doing right now for the West Coast, I've turned down 5 teams because they want to come in as a multiple contractor, and I've just told them if you can't be on the truck, you will not run one of our trucks in the story. So you're shaking your head, yes. Why?
Smart choice.
Have you dealt with that before?
Absolutely, smart choice.
It's really fun with our teams that have come up with this in the past 2 months that have turned around. I'm very, very happy and impressed with our teams and their abilities. The ones that are on the bottom, they own it and it's all them. The other guys, it is the East Coast guys with what they were running. The East Coast teams ended up at 96.2 last month. And the competition and the relationships that they've built is just amazing to watch them.
Gotten quite a few phone calls. It's never been that good. Customers are impressed.
What store are you in?
Melbourne.
yeah, we got our last Google review, 5-star review was for the delivery team.
They called just to let us
On
know.
our side.
The top 2 teams we have as far as getting feedback right now, Truck 14, Jordan, he is number 1. He's our top dog. He's second for getting recognition by name. Ray and Angel, who run Truck 16 that are mainly supporting the Ormond area, they get recognized by name more than any other team we have. Second is Truck 14. And that's a huge change for us. We have a survey that goes out with our deliveries, and I've really started reading those surveys, and that's what's impressed me, is seeing how many times the customers are calling their delivery drivers by name.
Yeah, but you introduce themselves when they get the customer's house.
Yeah.
Same like
They do. But Josh said this last year that we need to shift a little bit and start looking at our client, that we have a lifetime with each client. We know they make multiple purchases. That's proven to me when our customers are calling our delivery drivers by name saying, I want them back.
I want the same team back, yeah. Well, I don't want that team. I hear less than.
Most of what we hear is they want the same team. The one that comes to my mind most right now is Alejandro, Truck 29, who supports Clearwater and Pinellas. He gets the most calls that people want him back out of our teams right now.
What's he doing different?
He builds a relationship.
He spends time at the house.
Oh, I heard at one point somebody used to roll out a carpet. Yes, that's why I'm
Well,
saying.
no, what we do is we have like
They still
your mats coming into the store. We have little miniature versions like you put at the front door, and that's what we do. Our drivers put that at their front door before they start the delivery.
They put the door, they pad the door with the blankets.
Yeah, our teams that are struggling, we get on them, and we've got some to get them in the habit that we make them take a picture of every stop. If we're getting reports that they're not doing it, we make them show a picture. First picture they take in DT has to be of their mat in front of the customer's doorway.
So how do you improve the other drivers? Do you share what this driver doing? Do they get together and they share some?
The drivers on the East Coast, that's a great part. They do every morning. Our West Coast is always our challenge to build that team. Again, I've taken this over right now, and what I feel has really helped is I've started since January 1st. Every Wednesday, I completed our clean delivery report this morning. When I complete that, I send an email out to all the drivers giving kudos for our top performing teams, where they're ranking, and who's doing what. So we're talking to them. Do you know what's working for you? And now our drivers know. I want to know what you're working on. What's your top priority this month? What'd you do to turn it around? And if the driver can't tell me that, they don't like the conversation that comes next. Because I flat out tell them, if I talk to you in 2 weeks and you can't tell me what it is, we're going to have a problem. Because if you're not thinking about this, that's why you're on the bottom and not on the top.
Yeah.
And Andrew just brought it in. This is our map that every one of our trucks start their delivery off putting this at the customer's door.
Can I have it because I still have the old one?
See what she does?
See, she's steal everything. She's a little absorbing. No, be patient. She's becoming dependent on
When she leaves, we do an inventory.
$75 just for you.
No, it's okay. I'll put my free one.
What else do you have to do?
I'm sure.
80 for you.
It was truthfully fun.
It's a lot of fun.